Okay, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have a really outstanding update for you from the brand Haveston. A little bit about them. They are UK based out of London. They were established in 2015 and they pretty much offer a lot of high-end NATO straps designed with both functionality and ergonomics in mind. Now, what we'll be looking at today is their general service strap sets. There's basically an outstanding new premium quality look to them, and I really can't get enough of it, as well as taking a look at an evolution of their Carrier A2 enhanced strap there on the far left. There are some commonalities between these, although they are different lines. Of course, you can see four of them have much more common design language versus the other one, still similar tone and whatnot. But there's just some cool feature sets that are also shared in terms of kind of the more overbuilt and robust styling. In terms of these watches themselves, guys, if any of you are seeing them going, oh man, I'd love to see a review for those exist on this channel, except for the one on the very far right there. That Seiko, I reviewed the black dial variant, which is on the bracelet, which means it's brushed. This one is bead blasted, and I got it from Mark over at Long Island Watch. Big shout out to him. I'll do a video review of that one in the future, so stay tuned for that. But every other watch has been reviewed in the past. Now we'll start off just letting you guys know, I guess, a little bit more about the pricing on these. They have some, they're not really expensive at all. So basically, some common themes are you get free shipping for orders over 22 bucks, and then 10% off of orders of 2 or more straps with using the code field set. It's not applicable to the general service strap set because you're already buying it in a set. So there's basically going to be the general service strap, and then there's sets A, and then there's set B. Those are $39.85, so you're getting 2 straps, of course. And then for the Carrier A2 strap enhanced, those go for $28.55, at least at the time of filming this video. They all come in similar widths. In terms of the general service strap, you're going to get a little bit more room there. You're going to get the 18, 20, and 22 inch widths. I'm sorry, 22 millimeter widths, not inches. And then you're also going to get on the Carrier strap a little bit more traditional options in terms of compared to the rest of Haveston's lines being pretty much just a 20 millimeter and 22 millimeter. And then you're also going to have a choice of brushed or polished hardware versus it being just the full bead blast, as you'll see. So with all that said, guys, kind of a long intro, but I know everybody enjoys their moment of zen while they watch all of the watches be time hacked together. So we'll go ahead and zoom this video camera out, get these pieces in hand, and take a closer look. All right, so should we just start with the oddball, or should we save it to the end? Okay, we'll start with the oddball. The Carrier 2, or I should say the Carrier A2 enhanced strap. Now, when I say enhanced, you're gonna see some enhancements. Look at that reinforced holes there, very beautifully done, only on the one side, but honestly that's all you need, otherwise it might get a little overly thick. Also, you're getting this beautiful, let me make sure it stays in focus there, you're also getting that beautifully refined tip, which does add a more premium feel. Also, you're getting quite premium hardware, so very beautiful. And honestly, this color palette with the various shades of blue ties in really great to blue dials, but you know what also looks great on a gray dial, especially a pilot's watch like this Oris Pro Pilot Big Crown. So I just really enjoy the way this ties together, and you know what, you throw this on with a pair of blue jeans and all of a sudden you're feeling like a pilot, a pro pilot. So yeah, this thing is sweet. It basically has a vintage kind of naval aviation inspired pattern, and it's based on the 1943 US Navy tricolor camouflage scheme, and it was found on Carrier based aircraft in this Pacific theater of World War II. The Carrier E, or Enhanced, features, of course, an added reinforced look and construction with fortified settings, the holes and the tail, and then it also has that versatile combination of subdued navy and gray tones, which ties in to this beautiful gray tone. So yeah, I think that looks absolutely epic. Should I just put it on the wrist now? Sure, why the heck not? So I have a 7¼ inch wrist. You can see I can do this with one hand, pop it through, and the nice thing is, because we do have sliding keepers, I can adjust these if I want to, and maybe line it up right there with the tip, and then on this end it looks quite good. Oh man, check that out. Let me get it down low here. I think it looks fantastic. Really big fan. Why don't I scoot these a little bit over and out of the way? And yeah, I am absolutely digging that. Again, really fun, casual look. Of course, you know, NATO straps and whatnot do feel more like a summer vibe. And yes, you can enjoy something like this. I mean, white t-shirt, blue jeans. I mean, it works. So very, very nice from that standpoint. So happy to share that one with you guys. But the kind of main course here is going to be, should I keep it? I'll put it off camera. So the main course here is going to be these sets, and trying to remember how the sets were set up. I want to say it was these two and these two. So if you guys can see them all in frame here. So you get the general service strap, and general service, yeah, did I say that right? Did I? Yeah, I did. General service strap set. So it's a utilitarian strap with a technical look designed for general everyday duties. It's made from ballistic nylon, and it's perfect for a beater roll or a simple match up to kind of just put them together, and I think it works, and I had a lot of fun kind of putting these combinations together. So set A is going to be the black staple, and it had multi gray based tones, so you get the kind of more monochromatic. And then on the other side, you're getting set B, which is the olive drab and the khaki, both very classic field tones. And man, do these things just really, really sing. I'm really digging that. So let's go ahead and start with set A. We'll go ahead and set these a little bit somewhat off camera here, just kind of out of the way. Now you're getting these great monochromatic, so these would pretty much match with any dial, but I thought, why not pair it with my DS30, my early DS30 that only has 100 meters of water resistance, because how dare they, Damasco started pumping up the specs, and now they even have the DK30 that has a in-house movement and a no date option. But from me, guys, this thing obviously belongs on a strap, although they do have a bracelet for it, but unfortunately has kind of a protruding male end link. I'm not quite sold on it yet, and it is quite expensive. So this watch for me ends up being more of a strap monster. And as you can see, the general service on here is just gorgeous. You see the broad arrow as well. So this thing is fantastic. It has that kind of military vibe. You also do get a sliding keeper, in this case nylon, and then your fixed keeper is going to be bead blasted, as well as your hardware here. So there aren't any spring bars to fail, which is outstanding. Of course you will have spring bars in here, but if they fail, you still have the loop around your wrist, so both spring bars would have to fail for you to lose the watch. Now let's go ahead and get it on wrist. I really love this watch. It probably doesn't get enough love just because I end up wearing watches on bracelet a lot of the time. But I have to say, now that I have this strap, this one might be seeing more adventures and more wrist time, because look at that. It just perfectly dials in that just dynamic field watch aesthetic Of course, this is a pilot's watch, a German one at that. Very minimalistic, but here you just have such a beautiful military vibe, and you're also getting the contrast gray font on there. That text just makes things pop, and again, gives it that more militaristic feel. You know, for me, I spent, geez, almost 10 years in the world's finest United States Marine Corps, hoorah, and I have to say I miss little design cues like this. These just like little frivolous nomenclatures that you would find on gear. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm digging the black, but I'm a big sucker for Admiralty Gray. I just think it's fantastic. You know, if I had a vintage Tudor sub, a vintage Tudor Snowflake, I would put it on this strap, absolutely, but I don't own one of those. So honestly, this thing matches almost so perfectly here with this Seiko Field Watch for their new Seiko 5 line. I think it's a killer combination. My goodness, it's almost a perfect match, and it's so close to being a perfect match that depending on the lighting, it kind of is a perfect match. And I dig that. It's a kind of a deeper gray, bluish tone, which ties into, of course, Admiralty Gray. And it's just a beautiful look. I'd say it even challenges the all black here, because with the black on gray versus gray on black, it's just as versatile. But I think when it's black, it can be somewhat less versatile, because then you're going to want a black dial. Here, this would look gorgeous with a blue dial, with a gray dial, and then with a blue-gray dial. So you get a little bit, and then you could even put something with a black face absolutely on here, because you also do have the black font text. So that just is fantastic. We'll also get this on the wrist. As you can see though, one thing I am noticing, oh, also, hey, let's point that out, a little signature, beautiful. So great, a lot of great little just almost like Easter eggs, if you will, in terms of design. It's just, oh man, this thing just goes on, stays on. I will say that because of the thicker nature, you know, I did have to basically put these and then put the spring bars in after. I wasn't running these through, at least any of these watches, except for probably the Boulder. I think I actually did run that through, just because that has a lot of extra gap. But I try not to damage the watches. I'm sorry, the straps, just because I love when they, I mean, I just like to try to keep things more pristine. And I think that looks great. I will say that with this, it does seem like it wants to lay a little bit flatter on this side than this one. It wants to kind of catch a loop. That might just be needing to be broken in a little bit there. Of course, I do wear a lot of bracelets, so I haven't really worn these. And I tend to, in terms of reviews, try not to wear them out, so they actually do look quite new and will match kind of the experience you'll have when you open the box and the packaging and whatnot. So, but yeah, these are very, very handsome, and you can see that is a match made in heaven. So there we go. That is going to be, you know, set A or set alpha. Are we gonna get real military with that? And speaking of military, here we go. This great squall or squale, depending on who you ask. Absolutely the military vibe here. It's the militaire, and it does pay tribute to a military issue Blancpain that did have a original squale case back in the day. And these are sweet, and you can see bead blasted again, ties beautifully into this theme. And I thought the green really complemented well and just really brings out the military vibe on this piece. I typically wear this on a black rubber tropic strap from Squale, and I think it looks fantastic, has more of a retro vibe, but here it does tie in a little bit more, especially with that kind of hue there on the loom, that finds a way to be, you know, a little bit throwbackish without being faux Tina, which I can absolutely appreciate. So let's go ahead and get that on wrist. This is, of course, the olive drab, and it looks fantastic and wears fantastic as well. Check that out, guys. Woo! It just has that urban vibe to it. I really dig that. Of course, you know, using high-end materials has become quite a staple for fashion these days. So this actually does fit the bill, whether you're going to be going out into the field or camping or anything like that, or just trying to look pretty darn nice in your fit. You know, maybe you have a Gore-Tex version of some Air Force Ones or some Air Maxes, and you'll recognize this type of design aesthetic, just that overbuilt militaristic style, and it looks really, really quite good. And to go with that, again, there's the offset, is you get this cool khaki tone, which for me is more of, I'd call this coyote green or coyote brown in the Marine Corps. It just has this great tone, and I love that they used the gray to play off of this instead of the black or instead of green, because I think it just gives it new life, and that gray goes really well, of course, with the bead blasted hardware. In this case, a gray titanium case, also bead blasted. This beautiful dial, very military, of course, more of a new school take. So this ends up being a bit of a match made in heaven as well. I mean, these two, I think, are going to battle it out for, hey, what's the better affordable field watch in terms of kind of every aspect. Of course, this one's going to be a lot more capable, but where you get a lot of bang per buck for the Seiko is going to be that brand heritage, so quite recognizable and quite fanfare built around the brand. Sometimes negativeness, but everybody loves Boulder. I mean, it's not to everybody's aesthetic, but what I and most reviewers appreciate about this brand is everything is just so original, and they did such a great job blending old and new when it came to the design aesthetic here, that of course, when Haveston blends a little old and new, it just fits. My goodness. And then you also do, of course, have kind of the yellowed there. That's a little bit more, I'd say, within the vein of Fotina. But for me, it's actually more in the vein of just high contrast. You have, you know, white, a beautiful white dial. So yeah, if you were to do white loom, or you know, you did it just wouldn't pop as much. So I think for me, I'm not sure if I even consider that Fotina. It's really more just high contrast, and it helps with legibility, which of course this watch is all about. And honestly, this one does typically wear pretty small, and I have to tell you, on this strap, it doesn't feel like it wears small. It feels like it wears really quite nice. It might be a little high on the wrist, making it appear visually a little bit smaller. That's a little trick for the insiders there, of course. Let me tighten this up a little bit now. And check that out, guys. Even on my 7¼ inch wrist, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. You get up close, of course, a little lens distortion. It's going to feel you know, the frame a little bit better, but even down here you can see lays really nice. Of course it is thicker, again guys, of course it's thicker, but man, does it look good. So yeah, a really gorgeous setup, quite a few little options. Yeah, this one I actually did run through here, and then what I can do is pull it out so you guys can see that. Gen Service. What does that stand for? I don't know. General Service Strap. So very, very cool. I'm absolutely digging that. And yeah, it's just a very nice setup. You do get a little flash of some case back love there for Boulder. And then for me, as I was kind of arranging these, another nice thing is I can kind of figure out where I want these to lay based off of the letters. So they actually are a nice point of reference when you're trying to figure out how you want this to sit on the wrist. So it's kind of nice from that standpoint. You are getting, again, it's just a good blend of form and function. I know that if I keep that C and the broad arrow, which is actually an E, and stylized E, it's going to center on the wrist the way that I like it, in terms of having, we'll get it back on the wrist as an example, in terms of having that buckle kind of lay more towards the center, if not over more, and not be all up here just bunched up. I'm not a fan of that, and that's something that kind of traditional NATOs really do in terms of positioning. So man, these are sweet. Guys, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. What are you loving? What are you not liking? But come on, what is there not to like about these outstanding Haveston straps? Haveston, who's saying it right? I don't know. All I know is that I might not be saying it right, but they are doing it right. I really have yet to find a bad strap from this brand. Huge fan. Thank you, Haveston, for, of course, recognizing the channel as a huge supporter and being able to get me access to these new straps as they come. It really does help the channel. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.